cold out there. All right, in the shed. Wow. All right, so here we go. Last week I inherited this Dura Heat DH2304 kerosene heater, and the problem is when you press the igniter button, the filament in there does not light up and light the wick. So I took the battery compartment out just to check the terminals. I cleaned all the terminals and I have fresh batteries. So I'm going to follow these wires inside the unit and try to figure out why that filament is not lighting when it touches that wick inside. So let's take a look. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these two side screws. There's one right there, and there's one exactly on the other side. So we're going to take these two screws off and we're going to lift this whole tower off of the base. Two big silver screws there. Put those aside. Now I should be able to lift this entire tower right off of the fuel tank. And what do you know? Just going to put that aside for a minute. All right, there's the wick. There's the burner. Just drop the wick back. We're going to take this cowling off next. But before we do that, we have to take this knob off, I think. Yep, we're going to take that off. Should slide right off. Don't worry about putting it back on. It's got a detent on it. You can only put it back on one way. And let's remove this cowling and just put this aside for now. And let's see what else we got here. We got a burner edge here. I don't think we need to take that off, but somehow we got to get to the wiring. So when I push the igniter button down right here, out pops the igniter head, and that's like just a little thin piece of coiled wire. That should light right up orange, and when it touches the wick, it should light the kerosene heater. So it's not doing that. So the wires on the battery compartment are fine, and they do go up and inside this cavity right here. So let's see if we can get a little deeper in and see what's going on. It could be the filament that's burned out. Don't know. So let's take a peek. I'm going to try to remove these three screws. 1, 2, 3. There's also 2 here, but I think that holds the igniter in place. So let's take these 3 screws out. So removing those 3 removes this housing. It basically moves, but I really want to take that off, so I'm going to remove these 2 screws. I already did one here. Let's do the other one and see what we get. So we have those 2 removed, and there's a little lip there, so I'm going to take that off for a minute and see exactly how this works. Okay, so we have the cavity. You push this up, it comes up. So the first thing we'll do is we'll check to see if there's any loose wires or missing components here. So a pretty simple design. When you push the igniter button, it raises the whole thing up, and if you can see inside there, so this gold ball right there comes up and touches this contact right here. I'm going to clean these up and make them nice and shiny. I have a feeling that the electricity from the batteries is not making a good circuit with these things right here. So I did notice though, don't panic, this will fall in, but you can pull it right back up again. I did notice that that little flange right there hooks to the front of that burner and holds it in place, so don't panic if it falls in. See, it's just sort of hanging there right there now. As you can see, the igniter, the heat over the years has melted that wire, although I do think it's still connected. If I had the multimeter, I'd get it out here and we'll check the continuity of that wire, but for now, let's just clean that contact and see if that does the trick. I'm going to grab a little sandpaper. So I'm going to bring that up a little bit. The wires aren't quite long enough to pull it all the way out, but it'll be enough to clean the gold ball contact there, and up underneath this little flange arm right there. That should make contact. Alright, let's give it a try here. It's kind of fallen down in the well here without a screw on it, but we should be able to get it to... Well, I'll be darned. Yep, that was the trick. So if you look under here, like I showed you earlier, there is a contact that, right there. Right there, there's a contact, red wire, white wire. So right where I'm pointing with my blade there, there's a contact ball, and there's a wire that goes up down into the battery pack. And then on this top flange right there, I cleaned the underside of that little spring contact there. It's nice and shiny copper now, and these two are making great contact, so it completes the circuit, which lights up the filament, which would now light the kerosene heater. So let's put it all back together and see what we got. Just make sure that when you're putting the igniter back in, it hooks in from inside. Make sure this little tab right here is on the outside of this ring, and it fits right in that little groove right there. And you can put this screw in, and then this screw in, and then the other 3 screws around the outside. All right, got all the screws back in. I'm gonna push the button one more time before I put it back together. There's the orange glow. Let's pull the wick up. Check this out, make sure it actually fires up on the wick. And then I'll extinguish it immediately. Look at that. Put that right out. Working like a charm. So the troubleshooting here, the battery pack takes 2C batteries. Make sure inside there you have clean terminals so that your batteries can make contact and send juice through the wires, which go through the bottom of the housing here, and then they come up under here. So if you have fresh batteries and the contacts are clean here and the wires are intact here, it's probably a bad filament in the igniter, that orange thing that glows, or the contact switch, which actually just closes and allows the battery juice to come through and make the wire glow. So pretty simple stuff there, just a little troubleshooting. Turned out it was a bad contact on here, and now I don't have to stick a match in here to light it every time. So hopefully this helped today. We so much appreciate you tuning in here at Fix Everything. Please comment. Good comments, bad comments. We all learn from everything that comes through on comments. So if you have something to say, something to teach, please do, or just a good word. Really appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day.